Hello and welcome back to my channel. Continuing the model that I was doing of the salon, this time I'm just trying to fix everything, making sure that all of the models are correct. The first thing I noticed was the shelf, which I didn't really like because what I wanted to do was to create a form where I could use lighting to highlight the products that would be displayed on this. So I tried to make an overlay where the LEDs would be hidden. So I'm trying to do that now, which is way hard because everything is curved, so I can't just add lines in the curve or push in or push out any of the thing. So I just have to remove everything and do the whole thing again. And this time I'm just measuring out before making any of the lines where I needed the curved lines to be. Usually you do this process beforehand, trying to measure out what the actual design would be and how much space you need, but as this is just a project where I'm learning everything, so I'm just doing it on the spot rather than having a full-on design process. And now this design looks a lot more better and looks more pleasing, and we uh, products can be displayed a little more better with lighting at the background. And now this is the display that I had on the inside, where products could also be uh, put on for display. As this display is on the inside, the plan over here was to just display products which are for hair treatment or hair color or any of the hair products. And again, because everything is on circle, it just made my job a lot more difficult because I kept had to zoom in and zoom out to make sure that everything was perfect. And as you can see, on one side it's like two lines, but on the other side it's on one line only, so I had to redo it again because I didn't like the symmetry. So I just copied and just moved the thing from one corner to the other to make it look better. And because again everything is curved, like if I have to erase something, it has to be in segments, which makes my work a lot more complicated, and it just gets on your nerves a lot. And on this panel, again, I figured that I would like to have like LED lights on the background to make the products that are displayed here a bit more highlighted. So that's why I'm making this under panel, so LEDs could be fitted in to give an ambiance for the products. Little backlit always looks good on with display panels. Okay, here I decided the software that I'm using for 3D rendering, which I will be using later on, is called 5D Render. For some reason, it doesn't take every object separately when you try to import it. So what I'm gonna be doing over now right now is just putting everything into different colors, so when I import it into the rendering software, it doesn't it does not take it as one object. So that means that when I'm trying to shade one area, it just takes everything into one account as one object. So if I make one wall into a glass or something, it just made everything into a glass. So what I'm will be doing throughout this rest of the video mostly is just making sure that each segment that I have is separated as much as I can. So when I try to color those or put a different material onto them, it take I can change it to as different materials as I want, as you will see later on. And because this area's walls are not uh, full heighted, I created a false wall for this area, which is a little lower. I also decided to make a roof for this whole building because when I'm gonna be doing rendering later on, I want to add lighting into this project, which is gonna be difficult. And if I don't have a roof, the lighting would be usually done through a sun, which is just global lighting, which is not gonna be very helpful. So I just created a roof right now, and I would add it on top of add it on later on when I'm doing the rendering to see how to place the lighting and where they would be. Usually, when you're doing a plan, you have a roof plan for the roof as well, where each lighting would be placed as well. But because I didn't make this roof plan, I'm just gonna do it uh, however I want or how I feel like at the time. And as you can see right now, I'm just coloring everything as much as I can to different parts, as each material that I place on the wall would be categorized separately. So I'm just making sure each and everything would be separate. So when I add the material later on, if I just paste it on one material, it would be on only that selected area. I originally planned to use color in sequences, like in number wise, but when I started doing it, I kind of just went on my mood and kind of forgot which color I've used later on. So during this whole part of this video, you will see me using different colors or patterns or stones or marbles or different areas, because I kind of forgot which color I've already used and which I haven't. So mostly that's gonna be part of it. Next time if I'm doing it, I'm gonna be a little bit more careful, so I can use as much material as I can, because there are about a lot of colors which gives me a lot of options. But because I forgot which color I've used, I didn't want to go back and redo it again and again in sequence, so I just continued with it and I used different patterns as just to make it a little simpler for me. Again, with each and every row, I'm trying to select as many different colors as I can to keep each part separate. And because I don't want to color everything in one monotone, so I'm using different colors right now, which is gonna be a little difficult and difficult to see during the when I import this into a different project, as you will see later on in this video, because because of the rendering, it just makes everything color in the same area. If it's green, the whole room would be green unless I change the color. Right now you can only see the green color, but when I try to import it into other software, it just makes the whole area into a green, because it's rendering it as at the same time. Again, with the curves, it made everything a little more difficult, and I just got tired, so I just painted the whole thing one color and just decided to color the different areas separately. Coloring each of the walls separately and each side kind of became a little redundant and kind of annoying because each face is separate, and because I don't want I have to keep each color separate, like each wall separate. If I leave it white, everything white will be considered one object. So I had to keep going into the uh, holes of the doors and color each one separately, each of them, so they would not be considered as white as one object. What I'm doing right now is I'm creating the floor pattern for each of the rooms, so they would be separate. So if I have different flooring, I want to add different flooring for each separate space. And because everything is curved, it kind of made everything difficult because it the lines would not connect for some reason. So I had to keep going over again and again just to make sure that each room would have a separate floor. So when I'm trying to color it, it would be separate and not just a white background, which would make everything a little more hard. See, as you can see, I'm giving each room their own floors, and as you will see, me trying to try really hard just to make these floors for these rooms, as for some reason the line wouldn't connect, so I kept going over and over again. I tried to do it like 4 or 5 times. Tried to make the arches first, then the straight lines, but lines first, then the arches. But I don't know why it didn't like to connect to itself. So when I tried to do it as at an angle, it worked for some reason. I don't know if SketchUp does not like me or what the problem is, but it kind of gets annoying after a little while. At this point, what I'm trying to do is to add these floor patterns that I've made onto the base plate, so they would be considered as into one layer rather than be on two different layers. Because when I try to color it or add material to it, it creates a separation, and you can see a white line. Like the layers are separated, so the top material and bottom material keeps trying to merge with each other, and it becomes difficult. It becomes weird, as I could say. As you will see me trying to do this garden area, and this circle was one of another annoying places which for some reason weren't connected to the base that I've already created. And next, in my next project, I will try to not use as many circles or curves as I've used in this one, because it just makes everything so much complicated. And right now I'm just coloring, adding material randomly, not really caring about it, because I just need to make sure that each wall or each and every object is colored, so it would not cause me a problem when I'm trying to add material into it or using the other software. And this is the next software that I'm using. As you can see, it looks amazing and it kind of renders everything seamlessly and at on the spot. Like you don't have to keep rendering the image again and again. It just does it live. The software that I'm using is called D5 Render. I got it for free, and I believe it's free, and anyone can get it. And it's amazing. It just renders files very quickly. All the materials that I'm using are free. You can also purchase these. There are uh, there is a pro version for it, but majority of the functions are free. Majority of the materials are also free from the time that I'm using it, and it's amazing software. Right now, I'm just adding different materials, trying to see which works, which with what areas, because this is my first experiences, as you can say. And one of the greatest parts, other than that it's free, is majority of all the materials that you are free, so you don't have to have to download any special softwares or find files, separate files. All of the things are already built in. Whenever you try to select an object, it just quickly downloads it or loads it. I kind of don't know which one it does, but it's very quick, very fast, and I'm in love with this software. From what I've experienced with it, it's amazing. The only downside is that before you import any of the files, you have to have each wall or each surface that you want to be separate, because if it's in one color it will be considered as one object. So meaning that you cannot edit any of the models that that you have imported. It will take everything in as a one group. You cannot edit it. That's one of the negative points that I found, but the rest is amazing. As you could see, uh, because I've colored each of the areas separately, it gives out a very strong color. So that is one of the difficult things. It's not difficult, it's just annoying, because everything either looks pink or green or red or orange unless I shade it differently or add a different material. It Whatever I've imported, it kind of looks tacky. And because that it renders everything on spot, you can see the color changing at real time. Like as you could see when I changed the color from pink, you could see the color shift from the weird pink to the new pattern that I've applied on the walls. Like as you can see, the whole room right now looks pink, but when I shade in different materials, the whole room color changes. Like you don't have to keep rendering using separately again and again. It just renders in real time. As you can see, there are a ton of materials or samples already built into this software, which is amazing, and all of them are free. I did not have to download any extra add-ons or any extra stuff. I just downloaded the software and it installed quite easily. I just had to make an account, which was also free, and that's it. Was one of the most amazing things. This is one of the most amazing softwares that I've used, and it's quite fast. I'm just going through all of this again just to make sure that everything is as how I want it to be, and I can edit almost anything related to the material that I have imported, which I want to change, and it's quite versatile. I'm in love with this software, uh, and I think that's about it. This is all that I have tried in this video. In the next video, I will try to add the furniture and any of the decorations. And if I have the chance, I would also try to add lighting to see how that works. And I think that is gonna be it. Just watch till the end. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment. If you have any suggestions, do let me know. And thank you for watching.